You may begin. I'm going to turn the music off because this will be uploaded to YouTube. Best of luck to these two gentlemen. All right. Place your bets, chat. Place your bets on who you think will be taking the victory here. Let me pause the music on my end here just so I'm not hearing it as I commentate. So, again, as we know, the Altergeist deck taking on Dino, and as far as I'm concerned, mainly pure Dino. And Altergeist looks like winning the die roll, which is pretty important. That's one of the things that I was thinking about, that if Dino, and there's a clutch Ash Blossom on the Malusik, but the one thing I was thinking, if Dino was going to have a hard time and possibly winning this match, it was going to be because Altergeist was able to take the die roll. Now, if we take a look at essentially what this Dino player has been able to put out as he ends on, as Altergeist player ends on Linkuriboh with 3 set, pass there, losing out unfortunately on a very clutch, what would have been possibly a multi-faker search, unless he's really good and has multi-faker in hand already. Dino getting started with terraforming. Now I want to get back to what I was saying momentarily, just a few moments ago, I guess. And his board has been very, very strong, consistently ending on the wind barrier statue play, most notably kicked off through Fossil Dig, which there it is, and also having Lost World in hand, which is very, very good as well, to make his opening combo just that much more secure. But simply this combo, ladies and gentlemen, just really needs Fossil Dig, Miscellaneous Source, because a lot of times we'll see him pitch miss to protect the entire field from activated effects of all dinosaur monsters. So that means you're safe from Ash, you're safe from Valor and Permanence, you're also safe from mainly Nibiru, and then any other time Nibiru would come up after that, you've got Evolzar Dolka on the field, which is extremely, extremely strong, because it is not a dino itself, but it does provide multiple monster negates per turn. There is what it could be a very, very clutch, and let me turn the sound effects on here, just for the immersion. What could be a very clutch Cosmic Cyclone here on that Lost World, because of course we know we can chain block Oviraptor's effect on normal summon with Lost World. Of course, Chainlink 1 Ovi, Chainlink 2 Lost World to get a token onto the side of the field. And then I believe Lost World does have the effect, an additional effect that says while your opponent controls a token, they cannot target monsters in the field with card effects. So we know that Imperm Faker is one of the strongest boards, at least one of the strongest openings you can have with Altergeist. So essentially, Lost World could have turned that off completely by making that Impermanence dead, since obviously Impermanence does target, etc., etc. So there's a Foolish Burial, two powerful one-ofs in this opening hand, the Foolish and the Terraforming, and it looks like Ash Blossom is the final remaining card in his hand. If it wasn't multi-faker, you're probably pretty glad that it was Ash Blossom there to stop that Miscellaneous Source, because you know what he's bringing out with just the low cost of just banishing Misk itself on top of the added protection. I guess luckily for our Altergeist player, he did not get Misk to hand here, as I believe, again, he Foolished that Miscellaneous Saurus and added the Petty Ranodon, and hoping to set up, per se, getting Archosaur off this Miscellaneous Source to blow up the Petty Ranodon that was in hand, because all this Dino player wants to do is pop the baby. He just wants to pop the baby. Now, proceeding into the battle phase there, obviously Linkuriboh activating and doing what it does, dropping the Oviraptor to 0. And it looks like an Altergeist manifestation being activated here in the end phase, alongside that personal spoofing. Going to shuffle that back into the deck. I believe that will exchange itself out with another Altergeist card. So yeah, shuffle one Altergeist card from your hand or face up field back into the deck to add an Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand. So of course, going for none other than Faker and getting Malusik back out onto the board as a result, and Faker also triggering. So a very, very strong field here, a very solid little combo action here, activating here right in the end phase to really bring back what looked like something that could have just snowballed out of control. Making a pretty good comeback here with a few remaining cards that he has, and it looks like just Oviraptor on the opponent's field right now. things could easily slip out of control. But if you know what that means, if Altergeist takes game 1, that does mean Dino will get to do whatever it wants in game 2 by going first and setting up again that typical wind barrier statue, Dolka, and UCT play, which is pretty strong even against a deck like Altergeist that really doesn't like to special summon too much. I mean, it's not you know, Dragon Link FTK, that type of special summoning. It does special summon a little bit, but it has its ways to sort of deal with removal through trap cards to deal with something like the wind barrier statue. And again, of course, Dolka cannot negate trap cards, which makes it really, really strong. We're going to see a Link too, it looks like here. I imagine it'll be Hexia, and we haven't seen a Pot of Extravagance yet, which I believe both players are running here. Now we've seen this in the past. I believe the feature match, the semifinals of the top 8 match we saw the other day on stream. We saw him link Hexia off immediately for Link Cross just to get that search effect. But first, it looks like we'll see Marionetter. And Marionetter, of course, when this card is normal summon, you can set 1 Altergeist trap directly from your deck to your spell and trap zone. And then you can target 1 Altergeist card you control and 1 Altergeist monster to your graveyard. Send that card on the field to the graveyard. And if you do, special summon that other monster from your graveyard. So a whole bit of utility here off of just this 1 normal summon. Wouldn't Tornado be a better option than Dolka? Could possibly be an option. Again, obviously, yes, if he is playing it, which I believe we could take a look at deck lists and stuff momentarily. If maybe while they're siding, I can pull some things up to maybe compare and contrast what each player has to work with here. But not going any further, knowing that he's in a good spot already, taking the conservative approach. It looks like he's going into the battle phase here to run over that Oviraptor. And again, keep in mind this Hexia is boosted up, because I believe it does gain attack to whatever it points to. Yeah, gains attack equal to the original attack of each Altergeist monster it points to. So it's gaining additional 61, putting up to 31, which is pretty relevant. But again, UCT 3,500. So and we all know how easy it is to get UCT on the board, but we do have pill food in the graveyard. Hand traps, of course, like Ash Blossom, Effect Veiler, DD Crow, Ghost Ogre, just of course to name a few. All very good in a deck like this, especially a going first deck that if it does lose the die roll, needs some form of interaction. You're also making arguably one of the best cards in your deck partially live in the process by putting a non-Dino in the graveyard. So we still have Silk in play, and I believe this may have been Protocol set from the deck. Chat probably knows, of course, because Marionetter does set one directly from the deck. So main phase 2 here. Again, we could see the Link cross play, and it might... Oh, it looks like we're going to see another Link too. Will we see a Hexia again? So he's going to go for another copy of Hexia instead of going for the Link cross route. Maybe Link cross is a bit of a backup play if the Hexias are banished by something like Pot of Extravagance. So essentially maybe giving you four additional ways, or I guess 1 additional way outside of Hexia to trigger the Hexia graveyard effect very easily. So he's going to add a copy of Manifestation, as you might expect. So that card will, looks like, get set to the field, back to the hand. Obviously, a little bit of a misclicks can happen. That reminds me of the tournament that I was in a few days ago, or not a few days ago, like last month. And I was playing Mac Knight, and I accidentally set World Legacy Secrets, and then accidentally clicked the banish button. Something you obviously wouldn't do in a real duel, but again, picking the card back up, shuffling the hands around, making sure things are sort of unknown. Obviously, we know he searched the card, and it looks like he'll activate the Manifestation, and with that, Personal Spoofing will be activated. So out of this, he's going to get a Monster Reborn, of course, Multi-Faker to hand, and bringing back Hexia. Keep in mind that is a 3,000 Hexia as well. And I believe, yes, we're going to see Faker hit the field, because it will see, I believe, the resolution. I believe what matters most with... I'm no Altergeist aficionado. But yes, going for... And it will see, you know, the resolution of that trap card. See it activate. And he's going to bring out the Melusik. And looks like he is trying to activate Miscellaneous Saurus in hand here. or may have revealed it on accident, but going to normal summon Miscellaneousaurus now. And at this point, we do have Silcoidus bounce, and I believe we do have Protocol here. Doesn't look like much, but if you clear the Malusic, of course, if you clear the Hexia, you're only giving more cards back to the Altergeist player, and they're mainly just going to be cards of their choosing. So we'll see Miscellaneousaurus leave the field. Not sure what exactly he could be linking for. May have been just a misclick here. Okay, so it looks like what he was trying to do was activate Miscellaneousaurus in hand. And I believe these players are probably chatting in a Discord call at the moment. So I believe what ended up happening there, he's trying to use Miscellaneousaurus's effect in hand. And that's why we're seeing the Protocol activate to negate that Miscellaneousaurus. Therefore, any Dino monster that hits the field will be affected by activated card effects. Obviously, Miscellaneousaurus is a pretty good card that you want to stop. Although it, of course, does have the graveyard effect that can still be activated if he chooses to, which obviously can get him access to the Animadorn Archosaur. And I believe we still know that he has that Pettyranodon, or Petityrannodon. I hope I'm not... I probably am butchering that, but double evolution pill. Looks like in the opening hand, there it is. That is a pretty good card. Still has Silk Bounce, though. Obviously, because we know that Miscellaneousaurus effect did not go through. And I believe... let's see how this plays out. Hexia can negate as well. Okay. Again, I am no Altergeist aficionado, but basically... Let's read this card here. It says when a spell, trap card, or effect is activated, of course, tribute one Altergeist monster this card points to negate the activation. So, pill being negated. Pill being negated. And I believe the Miscellaneousaurus play right now would just completely flop as is. Because what if Animadorn Archosaur comes out, it will be bounced back, or whatever it tries to summon off Pettyranodon will bounce back to the hand, and double evolution pill is a hard once per turn, so you know, if it's negated and you can search another one, I don't think it's going to do him too much good. And again, he won't have any cards in his graveyard either to be able to make it live, at least a Dino and a non-Dino, that is. And he might just be seeing it out to the end here, seeing it all the way through, as it were, going for another spoofing effect, going for Marionetter. And I believe at this point it is probably just going to be game alone on sheer damage. You do have a 3k Hextia, and right next to it you've got a 3100 Hextia. Obviously right now that is game. He's gonna swing in unless he's got a Battle Fader, which I'd be hard pressed to believe that he does. That is going to be game. Gonna wait till the life points drop to 0. And that is it for game 1. Altergeist snuffing it out very quickly, as it seems. So, yeah. That's kind of what I was expecting going into this, is that we would see, you know, if Altergeist wins the die roll, this is something that we would see, that they would take game 1 pretty easily. So I'm going to actually go ahead and pull up now Google Docs here. I want to go ahead and take a look at see what they've got here in their side decks. I won't mention anything until after they've sided. Just in case. Can't help but be a little cautious, etc. So not that I would accuse anybody of trying to get inside information here. But let's see. There's that side deck. They're looking pretty standard for the most part. Let's check out the other one. Also looking pretty standard also. Does have some pretty good cards. We'll leave it at that. We'll talk about that in a moment once they're both done siding. But yeah, and I'm predicting here, if the Dino player does open up well, and the Altergeist player is unlucky enough to not see any side deck cards, obviously I think we will take this to a game 3 where I think game 3 will probably be the most interesting game out of all of them. And again, I don't want to curse it or anything, but I feel like we could easily see a very strong game 3. And it looks like Altergeist is going to be going first, which obviously means that the Dino player has opted to go second. Very interesting. So again, we'll take a look at the side deck here. 3 copies for the Dino player, Nibiru. 3 copies of Call by the Grave, Dark Ruler No More, Twin Twister, Red Reboot, and a Pointer of the Red Lotus. So quite a bit of back row hate, quite a bit of combo hate as well. So a little bit of a nice mix. Again, pretty standard for the most part. And we take a look at Henshin's, his sideboard on 3 Judgment, 3 Evenly, 3 Lightning Storm, 3 Nibiru, 1 Pank, and 2 Heavy Storm Duster. So really not too much for going first. A lot of going second hate. So maybe the Altergeist player, the Dino player, really rather realizing that if you're Altergeist, you're probably 100% thinking that you're gonna want to go first, and there with it, you're gonna be met with tons of resistance in the sideboard. So you really never know. You really never know if there's some mind games being played there. Don't worry, Billy. Do not worry. I think we're good on that front. But it looks like we do have an Ash for the Maluseek, and I believe he ended up holding the Ash instead of just shotgunning it immediately onto the Extravagance, going for the Ash on the Maluseek. Again, priorities, because obviously, you know, the Extravagance could get him into the cards that he needs, but the Maluseek 100% will get him whatever he wants. So pretty good bet there, stopping him from getting to directly what he wants instead of leaving it up essentially to just chance. Fossil Dig with the Lost World, opening up that one of Fossil Dig, or that one of Terraforming once again. So Soul Eating Oviraptor. Now, last time we saw Cosmic Cyclone, it does not look like there is a Cosmic Cyclone this time around. Sorting out now the placement of the token, transferring it over to the other player's field. And unless he's playing Mech Knights, I don't really think the placement will matter too much unless he wants to block, per se, the zones. Or he could perhaps try to do some piercing damage. Yeah, he could possibly be trying to go for an OTK here. And a Link Rebo obviously does do a little bit in the battle phase, but not going to do too much against a really strong Dino board. And we'll see him pitch Miscellaneous Saurus, and alongside that, Pankratops now being able to be freely put onto the board thanks to that token from Lost World. So making Pankratops live in a situation where it otherwise would just be a dead card in the hand. So Lost World doing so many things right now. Lost World is such a underrated card, and I think with the obviously the Dragonic Diagram going to 1 as it has, obviously a few months ago or whatever it was last year, the full potential of Lost World being realized now by a lot of Dino players, and now we're going to see Miscellaneous Saurus activate. And yeah, it's interesting talking about Pankrasaurus as well, is like it is at 1. But in a deck like Dino, as easy it is to not only summon out of the deck, but also to recur it from the graveyard off of something like Oviraptor, whatever it may be, it doesn't really seem like it's at 1. With the ability to get it out directly from wherever you need it, it seems like Dino can still play Pank at 3 to their choosing. So Miscellaneous will be negated. That's a clutch Solemn Strike right there. Very, very clutch. You do not want Animadorn Archosaur to get to the field. I do not believe he's used the effect of Lost World, and that would have paired very nicely with that Animadorn Archosaur, etc., etc. So Pankratops will attempt to tack into the token. And again, I believe both players are conversing in a Discord call. That's why there's no text being thrown at the chat. Best way to handle a finals like this would be to talk person to person. And it looks like the the Linkuriboh is going to tribute away the token before it can actually be attacked, because it is a level 1 token. I did not even realize that myself. So dodging a Lost World effect there, an ending turn, getting a little bit of damage in. At least you can at least be happy with a little bit of damage. Obviously, you know, the first person to hit 0 will lose the game. So anytime you can get a little edge in games like this in the finals where everything matters, every little play matters, you need to do every little thing that you can to get an edge up in the game. Either that means poking for a little bit of damage here and there. And impermanence, the field has been cleared. Impermanence coming down, and what I can only imagine is the Pankratops, and there is Multi-Faker to follow it up. Oh my. Multi-Faker hitting the field after the resolution of an impermanence in hand. Wow. That is pretty incredible. Now, there's possibly technically a way. I'll need to read Linkuriboh real quick here. If I could just hover over it. One of my most popular cards, tribute this card. This card in your graveyard, quick fight, you can tribute 1 level 1 monster special on this card. So, I mean, yeah, I don't really see a way that the Dino player could have got his way to keep that token where he wanted it, because Linkuriboh could have been live completely, you know, pretty much the entire time. And if you just tried to attack into the token first without going to Linkuriboh, Linkuriboh still could have dropped that monster to 0, and they would have stalemated, thus resulting in the same issue. You could have used the OV to target the token and protect with Lost World. I suppose that's true, but I believe what he ended up trying, and obviously may not be the correct play, because we don't know the full situation of both players. Obviously, we can only see what's currently happening on the field. Everything else is unknown. Could have been a bit of a greedy play there, trying to hope that the miscellaneous could have gone through and let the Archosaur pop the token. And again, but I think going for the Oviraptor obviously would have been the safer play. But a lot of people, me included, do forget about that pesky Linkuriboh effect in the graveyard, because it does come up sometimes. It doesn't come up a lot, but when it does, it can be very, very important, like we see here. But going into the battle phase here, Malusik attacking directly as it does, and Hexy, of course, being boosted by 500 attack points. And that will go through, I imagine. I mean, Pankratops is impermanenced here. So it could possibly lose this Pankratops right off the bat, which is extremely unfortunate. Extremely unfortunate, because Pankratops is such a strong card against really any back row heavy deck. So I believe the 500 will go through. Maybe a bit of a life point thing happening. But either way, Hexia now attempting to swing over the soul-eating Oviraptor. And we'll be able to do so because it is at 2,000 attack. And Melu is reduced by Lost World. That is correct. I completely forgot. That's right. So swinging directly for 0 damage. And it looks like... actually, this may not even be a misplay. This might be intentional. Don't start freaking out. Do not start freaking out, Twitch chat. I know, Twitch chat. It's okay. It'll be okay, Twitch chat. Possibly strategically here, crashing the Hexia to get a search that he needs. As you really can't do much in this situation anyways. Hexia would have, Hexia be down, since this is technically, if this gains the original attack. So the original attack. So it would have been up to 2,000, back down to 15. So only taking 300 there, I believe. The life points should be calculated as such, I would imagine. But I believe the life points. But why would you ever just link off again? I mean, again, it's hard to tell. It's hard to really make the most clear decision because you really don't know what both players are working with. But again, yeah, it could also just be as simple as just forgot that the that the Lost World reduces attack and defense. something that could have very easily happened. It's the final. Some people might be a little nervous. You never know. But either way, Altergeist manifestation being activated now. Of course, in the standby phase. And having quite a few good targets in the graveyard here. Alongside Marionetta, another Hexia, Malusik, and also could also possibly just be able to get a Faker on board to go ahead and get Silk. But Pankratops is live now. This is something we do have to keep in mind. Pankratops is live. I believe the Geist player should be down only 300. Because it gains the original attack of the monster it's pointing to. Yes, Malusik was at 0. So I believe they should be down. I will message. Let them know. If they don't catch it, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. Who's winning? Altergeist is up 1-0. So yeah, there's the life point correction. So yeah, it should be down by the additional 300 life points, obviously because miscalculating, potential play with Oviraptor and falling into a little bit of a trap, and then same thing here happening where not paying attention to the attack reduction of Lost World, which is pretty good in this matchup. And now we're seeing another normal summon of an Oviraptor here, and alongside that, we could see Lost World attempt to activate, but Hexia is on the board, and he did that in the standby phase for good reason, because he possibly knew that Lost World was going to be a threat this turn, and that will get negated by Hexia, tributing off the Malusik, and also I believe this will activate Malusik's effect. This card is sent from the field to the graveyard. You can add an Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand except itself. So, believe he's going to go ahead and activate that, and of course, Oviraptor going to resolve and search Miscellaneous Saurus. Now I believe our Altergeist player going to search out something from his deck. Altergeist monster. Could go for Multi-Faker. Could also go for Konkari here if he wants the battle phase protection. So it really, I mean, you're gonna go with the Multi-Faker here. Who am I joking? Of course he's gonna go for the Multi-Faker. Of course he's gonna go to the Multi-Faker. Now, I wasn't paying exact attention. Chat might know what one of these set cards is, but I'm not entirely sure. If you got Protocol or something here. The Dino DNA. Yeah, so Hexia negate that Lost World, triggering the Malusik. Pankratops, again, is still alive. So, I'm interested to see where he's going to use this Pankratops effect. Because it could come in very, very clutch here. Obviously, you could have used it earlier, clear out any of his other back row, but deciding to hold it. We know there's a Miscellaneous Saurus. Very good. I mean, it could be Protocol, so you could add Protocol at the ready to do the sort of the same thing. And, my God, ladies and gentlemen, another copy of Lost World being activated. And there's the Miscellaneous Saurus. So doing everything in his power right now to bring this game back, because he needs to. The ball is in his court 100%. He is down a game. Right now it's crunch time. He needs to win in order to take it to a game 3, obviously. So Miscellaneous Saurus being pitched from hand, protecting all dinosaur monsters during the main phase from activated effects of the opponent. And Lost World didn't get to activate. Well, the effect was negated. And I'm just trying to see here. All monsters in the field lose 500 attack and defense except for Dino once per turn. If a dinosaur type monster is no more special summon, except during the damage step, you can special summon a Dirac egg token. So that looks like that's a soft once per turn. So if he does have another copy, he will be able to, I believe, activate the other effect once Archosaur hits the board, giving Archosaur a good target to destroy. At least, well, Lost World creating a good target for Archosaur to destroy. But we do have a personal spoofing here, which is very good. And it doesn't even matter he's going to go for the token, because he's got a Petit Pteranodon in the hand. Which, if Pankratops was at 2 or 3, possibly just go for another one because it does summon level 4 or higher. But I believe getting a step ahead here, the spoofing, I think, going to resolve here momentarily. Could send off the manifestation, could send off the Hexia, although I don't think it makes too big of a difference. We know he has Faker in hand. I believe Faker contribute on just the activation of a trap. I don't believe it has to be the effect of a trap. I'm not entirely sure. Reactivate a trap, yeah, so it doesn't have to be a trap effect. So we can simply do it off the initial activation of spoofing, obviously it being a continuous trap. Can work out that way. So he'll get the double evolution pill off the Archosaur. So not opting to use spoofing here, not opting to use Faker. And as someone mentioned in chat, the things might be snowballing out of control for Altergeist here. As the Dino player had another Oviraptor. He had a second copy of Lost World. Not only that, he did have a copy of Petit Pteranodon in the opening hand. Which is very, very good here. And now debating on what he wants to summon from the deck. I mean, you're looking at Giant Rex here, obviously. I think Giant Rex is a good candidate because we know he has Pill, and of course, there it is. He does have Ash Blossom in the graveyard. A crucial non-dino element, of course, to feed the fire, feed the fuel for that Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. No, I believe, no Quatless in the main deck. Dino players, I believe, removing Quatless from the main, although it is still a pretty good option to summon off Pill for the spell and trap negation it offers. The occasional recycling of 5 or more, I believe, 5 banished Dino monsters. So we have 2 Misk. We have 6 Unknown from the extra deck here. Now, the extra deck, obviously with an Extravagance extra deck, pretty simple. So at this point, it's just trying to figure out if he still has exactly what he needs. And there's Protocol, and it will be met with a Cosmic Cyclone. I mean, you really can't be more happy to see a Cosmic Cyclone at this particular point. I mean, I don't know if Protocol was going to do you too much to begin with this field that you're staring down. But Cosmic Cyclone, very, very good here on the Protocol. And it looks like not using... Yep, okay, so he's going to use the Faker here. Gladly paying the 1,000 life points. You could care less about the 1,000 life points. Hell, maybe you'd even pay double if you wanted to. Just to get that Protocol off the field. But we'll have to go through a bit of one sort of final hurdle, if you will. And that will be the Silcoidus bounce. Now, I'm not sure if there's one little area where if you bounce at the right time, the whole Dino play falls apart. And again, you got to remember he's also under Miscellaneous Saurus. So there's that. So unaffected by the activated effects of the opponent's cards. Yeah, so dinosaur type monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects during this main phase, which of course we are still in. Yeah, so linking off the Archosaur for Linkuriboh, which I believe is pretty standard, or perhaps not. Linkuriboh may not even be in the extra deck for all we know, because he has played an Extravagance, did banish 6, so it is very likely that Linkuriboh could be gone from the extra deck, which would kind of leave you a little disoriented. Playing only 2 Linkuriboh in the extra, and Henshin's, I believe, playing 3 copies of Linkuriboh. So maxing out on Linkuriboh, and I believe that is a little more important in Altergeist than it is in a Dino deck. Also does obviously play Reprodocus, a huge staple in Dino decks now, of course, as it does allow the deck instant access to the Simorgh Link by making a monster Wind, I believe is the only stipulation that needs to happen. So could possibly have a way to just get a Link on the board. That's really all he needs. UCT will help close this out a lot easier, because I believe as it stands, just going through these monsters here, and that Hexia, which is at 27, which at this point, yeah, you have to take into account the fact that none of his monsters, actually, well, no, Hexia is down by 22, so technically can get over it. My apologies. Okay, I keep forgetting about the Lost World effect, just like I believe our Altergeist player may have. So we're going to see a rank 4 here, and you'd at least to hope to see. Okay, so there's Dolka coming out in the improper zone. There you go. I believe he also plays Logia as well. I know some builds have completely abandoned Logia. The walking, I believe, Solemn Judgment, walking Solemn Strike here, making an appearance. And will we see Link Karibo? Does he still have one of the 2 copies? Yep. Actually, not going for Link Karibo, going for Relinquished Anima instead, which is going to immediately force Silcoitus here. And if he does, he's going to fall right into the Dolka, which will be obviously negated. So I think we can say without a doubt that I believe we are going to go to a game 3, which who knows what will happen. We saw Dino play a bit of the mind games here and, you know, opting to go second here against Altergeist, which is pretty bold. But you have to look at it this way. You have to realize that as a combo deck that Dino is playing against a deck like Altergeist, you know they have such combo hate in their side deck, because that's really going to be the only thing they're going to have a hard time against, is big combo heavy boards that are going to prevent them from playing. Because I mean, obviously Altergeist can't break through an Adamancipator board with the greatest of ease unless you have some hand traps to help break it up and make it more accessible to, you know, try to Altergeist through it. So I guess our Dino player, you know, realizing this and say, hey, if I go second, I can possibly make a lot of cards in his hand dead, which is exactly what he wants. That'll make him you know, possibly the Altergeist player board a lot weaker and make it a lot easier for Dino to still push through it, go for game. So it looks like the Dolka is going to negate detaching Giant Rex. Obviously, you want that engraved for double evolution pill. And Silk attempting to bounce, obviously on the Relinquished Anima, and obviously being negated. So you do have to negate here because Anima is a non-Dino. So, and I believe we're seeing, I believe the Anima is activating here, and they're trying to possibly change control, or may have been sent off via spoofing here. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think it really matters too much, as we're seeing the double evolution pill be played now, and gonna go for none other than the king of Unga Bunga himself, UCT, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, coming out at a whopping 3,500. And of course, Giant Rex gonna be able to make an appearance, and he could, I believe, still do his entire combo at this point if he wanted to, and link off the Anima and the Oviraptor for Reprodocus, make Giant Rex a win, go for the Simorgh Link, and follow it up with a Wind Barrier statue to really secure the deal. Not even needing Pankratops here at all. And of course, you do have the added benefit with Hexia being down by additional 500 attack points. I really don't see there being much of anything that you can do here as Altergeist. So I imagine before he goes in, and Lost World activating now, because I believe he did not use Lost World earlier when that Animadorn Archosaur hit the field, because he already had a Petty Pteranodon in the hand. I'm gonna need to take a sip of water. I'm gonna redeem those hydrates right now. Make Dweller or Logia too. Yeah, going for Logia here could be pretty good, of course, obviously. Excuse me. If he does have it still left in his extra deck, because I believe he might only be on one copy of Logia, which I'd have to compare his list to the other Dino list, but maybe one of the only ones actually still playing that Logia in the extra deck. Yeah, so one copy of Logia could have it. If he does, might want to make it just a super secure. You can never help but be too safe here. You believe in Henshin's. Let's go, baby. What game is this, Israelite? This is game 2. Altergeist took game 1 pretty commandingly. And I believe Dino looking to straight up secure it here. A second Dolka. Not playing around here. No Kunkiri. No multi-fakers. No Silcoitus. No Altergeist. Anything. Now as we enter the battle phase with just a steroided out Dino board, attacking into... Now, keep in mind here, Dolka is down by 500 because it is a non-dino, despite it looking like a dino and being an evol and a dino archetype, but it is a dragon, so keep that in mind. So it is down by an additional 500 of its own. So it is at 18, but Hexy itself is down by 500. And, of course, there's the Kunk, so you're really glad you had that, and you've got the extra Dolka to spare. So Conqueri actually looks like... I'm not entirely sure here. But we might... Okay, so it looks like we saw Conqueri, Dolka being activated, chaining spoofing, and then Pank having to activate to clear spoofing. Otherwise, I believe Conqueri would have dodged the Dolka. So really good play there by both players. And holding that Pankratops for as long as he did. I know if it was me, I would have burned that Pankratops long ago on the first set card I saw, because I do not like playing against control decks, and I like to just destroy back row as much as he likes to destroy baby. And negating the Hexia in the grave. So yeah, you're really glad you've got at least 2 Dolka left in the deck. And also negating Linkuriboh. I believe, yeah, you can only use this effect of Linkuriboh once per turn. If he is activating Linkuriboh, I'm not entirely sure. This is game 2, Saturn. Altergeist took it game 1 pretty commandingly. And I imagine we're heading to a game 3, but Altergeist is not going down without a fight here. At all. I cannot... This is so far proving to be a pretty good finals, and I can say I'm pretty happy. I was a little worried hosting a tournament in the meta that we're in, that top 8 would be just all Adamantipator or Eldritch. But we didn't get that. We got 2 completely unexpected decks that are still in their own right, both heavyweights. And still in their own right, going through this entire tournament with an Adamantipator and an Eldritch presence, as small as it was, still there, still able to fight through those decks and make their way to the finals. As we mentioned, Henshin's here on the bottom in red. You know, losing to Eldritch in round 4 of Swiss, and then in top 4 when it mattered. Okay, so there we go. We're gonna head into game 3. Yeah, we have an actual totally... yeah, we will be hosting another tournament. Maybe I would look for an announcement of another tournament going up within the next week or so. And I already have some people's names down that tried to get in for our last tournament that didn't make it in on time, and I offered them to sort of pre-reg. So I believe we have like 4 people already pre-regged. Also love the fact that both duelists choose Cherry Beans Man. That's... Oh, I didn't even notice that. The Cherry Beans Man being the mascot here of the finals. So we saw the mind games in game 2. Will they continue into game 3? Altergeist might be thinking, you know, I really want to go first. And does the Dino player know this? Of course he knows this. I'm playing a control deck. I want to get my setup. Maybe he's like, you know what? I'll go second this time around and try to let you play into my hand traps, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen here. Altergeist going the tried and true route. Going to go first, see if you can get that perfect setup, as little interruption as possible, because it may be just a repeat of game 1. We saw Altergeist get a really good stranglehold on the game very quickly, despite and there's the Ash Blossom. So Ash Blossom making a appearance in this tournament, in this finals, I should say. Whether it be stopping Malusik or whether it be stopping Extravagance. Now, I believe in game 2 we saw him hold the Ash for Malusik, because I believe the Extravagance may have already resolved, or maybe I missed it and did it vice versa. But again, holding, or not really holding, I guess. I mean, if you see Extravagance, you know, it's a pretty good card to stop. They lose a lot of value in the extra deck. Could have possibly lost some key pieces. I mean, hell, for all you know, he may have banished all of his Linkuribohs, but extremely unlikely, of course. Would you consider letting more people join for the next one? Possibly. Possibly. I'm not entirely sure as of yet, though. I might just do another 32-player thing, because we had took a little time for us to hit the 32-player cap in the last one. So I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, because managing 32 players is kind of hard to do, especially since it was my first tournament. So Malusik resolving successfully and going for, of course, none other than the multi-faker and having 2 set back row alongside of it. And Linkuriboh not only being great for the instant, and there's the 3rd game in a row, the one of terraforming. Very, very lucky for our Dino player. But obviously, Linkuriboh playing a bit of a deeper role than just the instant trigger of Malusik. Opting, because you're hoping to, obviously, once you search the faker, to get Silcoitus. And if you can help it, not lose the Silcoitus immediately in the battle phase, because of the weak attack and defense points that it has, Linkuriboh, of course, does come in clutch to protect it in a little bit of an extra way. And not to mention, with this particular matchup, Lost World providing a level 1 token. So if Linkuriboh does leave the field, and it's not time, if you're the Dino player, you don't time it correctly here about when this token is going to exist, whether it's before or after Linkuriboh leaves, we could see what happened on a previous game here where the Linkuriboh just quickly removes that token off the field and says, no, you have to find another way to trigger and destroy the baby, to pop the baby, which of course is what he lives for. Now we're seeing, okay, so battle phase, going right to battle phase. I think we're going to see evenly matched here unless this is a really good bluff. It is, so it's a bluff. It looks like a possible bluff here. Hoping that he'll burn something in response to what could have been a possible evenly matched. And it looks like there is no evenly. And we'll see personal spoofing. And it looks like multi-faker being chained with it. So there's faker. And now he really doesn't need Silcoitus here. What he needs is possibly another Malusik to get more advantage going for the next turn. So yeah, so there's Malusik. Bit of more of the defensive, more resource managing style play. Yeah, so entering the standby phase, going into main phase 1 here now. Altergeist, I really don't think is a deck that can OTK too much, per se. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't have ways in the extra deck to sort of help boost that along. And it looks like in the extra deck, a copy of Selene alongside 3 copies of Access Code Talker. Obviously, Access Code can get huge. Possibly going up with a Link 3 like Selene, all the spellcasters that are already in the deck. You know what I mean? And that's a 5,300 Access Code Talker, which is gonna be pretty hard to deal with. Even as 5,300 UCT, of course, can book, but it is a Link monster, of course, cannot exist face down, so that can be a bit problematic. So seeing Hexia here and Marionetter. Actually bluffed one so hard I changed 5 bricks into evenly plus combo. Wow. You love to see it. You love to see it. The mind games that are being played here, man. I didn't expect we'd see some Jedi mind games, but we're certainly seeing them. Dino player going second game 2, and then the bluff of evenly matched here in game 3. Not super uncommon, but cool to see it nonetheless. Marionetter setting the protocol from the deck. So it's looking pretty good for Altergeist here. Looking pretty good. Almost a little too good. Swinging for 331 and 16, leaving him with just 3K left in the bank. Pretty scary here. Pretty scary. Now, we saw him search the Lost World, but he just needs something. He just needs something to combo off of that Lost World. We know he has Protocol. Protocol can provide a negate. We know he also has another spell, Trap Negate. And maybe he wants to try to link off Hextia here to get a search. I'm not actually entirely sure if we know he has a multi-faker in his hand. Which you probably want a multi-faker in your hand going to the next turn to provide a Silk Bounce alongside, protection of that Protocol. Got 3 cows riding on this. Oh, I'm sure he's trying. I'm sure Victory's Shrine. Absolutely. Need to take another sip of water here. Getting intense. Building up a sweat. Just watching this. Gotta admit. Gotta admit. And again, I'll mention this earlier. We will be doing the, as promised, obviously, well, first of all, winner will be getting their choice of one of 3 Imperium Duelist playmats. Up for grabs are the Millennium, the original Millennium playmat, the black and gold, one of their most popular mats, currently sold out, so you can't really get it any other way. The Smash Brothers Brawl playmat, which I really didn't want to give away because I really, really like that mat. But I wanted to put it in there as a bit of a little interest point, and they're also their new Link Arena, just a real nice slate, gray and black with a bit of a blue outline. Very, very nice looking playmat. For the little toned down in the design, a little more plain and simple. And first place will obviously get their choice of one of those mats. Alongside that, they will also get their very own Discord deck profile interview uploaded to the channel, which of course we will be doing after this. Of course, if these players have time. It is about 11:15 at night where we're doing this, for those watching on YouTube. Again, don't forget to say hi to YouTube chat if you haven't already. So, standby phase for Dino here. We're gonna see Manifestation, and you're doing this because you want to get Hexia fueled up with a Spell Trap Negate. I imagine, because obviously you wanted to link off and do another Hexia, because he says, you know what, if I get this Hexia into the grave, I'll get the Search. And then so long as my, Manifestation goes through, I can get a little extra out of it, right? I can get the monster back into the field, and then he's now spoofing it back into the deck to probably get his multi-faker. So, it's a pretty good play around. Although I gotta admit, a Cosmic Cyclone may have put a bit of a wrench in his plans. I'm not entirely sure, though, because he did have the spoofing to go along with it. Maybe 2 Cosmic Cyclones would have done it. So, bringing out Hexia. Don't you dare type salami in the chat. No. Behave, chat. Behave. But either way, multi-faker hitting the board. Sure, everybody's so excited to see multi-faker here. Sure, everybody's very, very excited to see multi-faker making its way. And again, the only Altergeist player in the entire tournament making his way to the finals. We had 3 Dino decks. We had 4 Mech Knight decks. Unfortunately, no Mech Knight making it to the top 8, which disappoints me a little bit. So Mech Knight players, next time, step it up, please. Please, step it up. Step it up a little bit, all right? I was in an online tournament the other week. I played Pure Mech Knight. I went 4-1. I would have made top cut. I'm just letting you guys know. The bar you got to be at, okay? That's the bar. I'm just letting you know. I saw a lot of Pure Mech Knight. A lot of good Pure Mech Knight. But unfortunately, just couldn't get it to where that exactly needed to be. How long has this game been going? We've been going for probably, and we're not doing time on this game. We're just letting these guys play it out as precisely as they need to. So we're not enforcing time rules on these guys. We're just gonna let them play it out, and because like I remember old ARG days. They used to do the finals where they do, I think it was a best of 5. That's they would just let the play, and the finals would be like 2.5 hours long. And I love that. Just, you've earned that playing through time rules, etc., through the main tournament. Just let them duke it out as they should in the finals without any time limits. So, yeah, this is looking pretty rough, and it's so unfortunate because Majin Booty has done so well throughout this entire tournament. 7-0. Very impressive with this Dino deck. Again, only losing 2 games the entire tournament, chat. It's 10 games total. Would have been 3 2-0s and then 2 2-1s. So that's 2, 4, 6. Plus an additional, like 12. Plus that's 14, 16. So out of 16 total games, only dropping 2. So it's a 16-2 record, which is pretty damn good. And their Foolish Burial not Not using the Ash on the Foolish, using it on the Miscellaneousaurus, and that right there has got to hurt because you know he's going for Archosaur, and that baby wanted to get destroyed. He had the TNT wired up, he had it, and he was ready to push the plunger down to destroy the baby. And plan's foiled by Miss Blossom. I don't know how you do it at this point, man. Altergeist may have it secured here. You still have a Spell Trap negate from Hexia. You still have Battle Phase protection from Linkuriboh. Which is very, very good because I believe, yeah, if this card is destroyed by card effect, so it cannot crash it here. That's not an avenue that he can take. Yeah, definitely a solid player. Heading to main phase 2. And that is it. That is it. That is it. Tensions in Discord taking the match 2-1. 2-1 taking the match. Had an Extravagance in hand. Battle of the Beans for sure. Congratulations to Henshin's. He had a Compulse and a Protocol set. I really don't think there was any way out of that. Rest in peace to Majin Booty. I mean, 7-1. Pretty good. Both players, I believe, ending with a 7-1 record in this tournament. So congratulations to Henshin's.